everyone, this is Amy from Concord 9th, and I'm here today to talk about our Magnolia Wreath bundle and give you some tips on alignment so you can be off to making amazing cards with this great set and die. So first I'm going to show you how to use the alignment tabs we provided on the stamp as well as the die to be able to cut out a perfect wreath and stamp a perfect wreath. So we'll see how perfect I do. So first, I'm going to pull in a MISTI. Now you don't have to use a MISTI for this, but I like whenever I'm doing a larger stamp to use the MISTI, so if the ink doesn't transfer all down the first time, I can have a second shot and it's pretty easy. Now on the stamp set, there are these little tabs on the re-stamp set, and there's a top and a bottom, and it's just to help aid your alignment. The other thing to notice is that one tab is actually a little bit wider than the other, and that's going to help you too. So in this case, I'm just going to put my tabs running up and down. You could put it side to side if you wanted either. I'm also going to make note that my point is coming about 2 inches so that when I lay the second stamp down, I can align it a little bit quicker, knowing that I pointed it to the 2-inch mark. And I'm going to put the wider tab down. Now it doesn't really matter if you put the wider tab down or the shorter or the smaller tab. It's just mainly remembering what it is that you did is going to be what's going to help you. So make sure we get that down. I'm going to start by using the really full solid stamp, and I'm going to be using 2 different greens today. So first I'm going to use the lighter of my 2 greens to stamp the really full filled in wreath. Okay, so I'll push that down. Now you don't have to use the second step on the stamp. We've got some samples that you'll see on the product page that only use one, and it's really pretty. But the second stamp, if you add that, just adds an extra little layer of dimension. So I've got that. I'll get that squared up again. And I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to move to my second stamp. So this is one that kind of is a little more sporadic on the leaves, and again I'm going to use these alignment tabs, and I'm going to put this wide one down at about the 2 inches just like I did the other one, and that gets me kind of in the ballpark to be able to, oh, I guess I better put it the right way. That gets me in the ballpark to be able to kind of just align it. That way I'm not going like this. That would take a really long time to find the alignment if I had no idea which direction with this wreath. But those tabs get me really close, and then I just have to do my fine tweaking. Now when you line up this second image, you're going to want to look in a few different places. You're going to want to make sure it looks lined up here as well as a few other spots around instead of just basing it off of one spot. And if you have it lined up in a few different spots, you should be pretty good. Now I will tell you the very first one I did when I was getting ready for this video, I lined it up perfectly. My next one was not so good. I didn't take that extra second and line it up. So we'll see how this one looks. But my first one actually lined up really well. So it's not that it's hard. You just have to take a second and make sure it looks all lined up. So we'll cross our fingers. And I have one that is perfect in case this doesn't work out. So I can always show you that one to show that it really isn't hard. Okay, not too bad. So now I've done my second set. So I'm actually going to take it off of the MISTI right now and move that aside, and I'm going to show you how those tabs also help when we do our die cut. Now the die has the same style of tabs that the stamp had. They're these little pointer tabs, and we put a little circle in them so that you can easily distinguish them from all the other points of the wreath. Now again, I'm going to put my wider of the 2 tabs at the bottom because I pulled the paper off of the MISTI and kept it straight. If you're going to be stamping a lot of these, I would suggest that you make a little mark maybe at the top of your paper so that when you pull them back in, you're not trying to rotate. However, if you don't remember, you're really going to rotate it no more than 4 times because you'll remember that your point was lined up to one of the straight sides of your paper. But because I pulled it straight off and I know the wide one's at the bottom, it gets me right where I need to be really, really quick. So I'm just going to line that up. We also provided this funny little piece in the die set. It looks kind of funny, but it serves a great purpose to cut out the center of your wreath. Now, because of the style of die that it is, I can lay that right in the middle, and I can see all my edges, so I have just a small little white edge to have that. So that way I know I'm cutting out the center. I'm not covering up anything. I'm only covering up what I want to cut out. So from here, I would cut that out with the Big Shot. Make sure you put some Post-it note tape or use a magnetic platform or something. So once it's cut out, we'll pull this one in. This is what you're going to have. What a really fun wreath that you can put on a card. Now the next thing I want to show you is another piece in the stamp and the die and how they line up. So we've done our big wreath. Now we have an extra piece that was meant for layering. So this piece is a half wreath piece in the stamp set. Now I've gone ahead and I've stamped it 2 times on this paper, and it's really easy to stamp. It's a really standard stamp, but now I want to show you how the die lines up. Now this die is a solid die, but the stamp is a little bit larger than the die, so it makes it really easy to line up and cut out. So you can see the little bit of edge of stamp peeking through, and that means you've got it, so you can run it through. And if you want to make a full wreath to lay on your wreath, you're going to cut out 2 of these. So I just stamped it twice, and then you're just going to die cut both of those. After I've die cut those, I end up with these fun little pieces. Now from here, I'm going to pull back in my wreath, and I can give these a little bit of movement and texture. I can curl up the leaves with my finger, and I can put these together, and I can lay them right on the wreath. This just gives that extra little to it. And one thing I really love about this set is how it just plays off that really popular trend of Magnolia Wreaths. I think shows like Fixer Upper and things like that have really contributed to the popularity. That farmhouse style and Magnolia Wreaths are so popular right now. I know I've been doing stuff in my own home and kind of pulling in that style. So I love that we're able to pull it into our stamping as well. So you can just lay those right on there, and it gives you just a little extra dimension to your wreath. You could also clip these pieces and use them just as little sprigs as well. They're really easy to cut apart. So that is how you're going to build the base of your wreath. So really nice and easy. Now I want to show you a few more things about this set that makes it really fun and easy. So next I'm going to pull in a couple of the stamps. I'm going to pull in the little stem piece that we have, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. So I'm just going to stamp that down, and it's just that little stem, but then we have a little berry cluster. Now there's 2 berry clusters in the set. One is just like a little 3 berry that you can stamp as an accent. The other has all these multiple berries, and it's designed to line up with this stamp. So instead of having to stamp all those individual berries, I can just stamp once. So I'm going to line up the 3 cluster of berries at the top of the stamp with my 3 little branches right there. And that, I'm going to try it again. That wasn't very good. I promise I've done better. We'll just try another one really quick. So we have our branch. It just didn't stamp down very well. So we'll see if I can do better this time. Okay, that's a little bit better. So look how fun and easy that is. Instead of having to stamp all those little pieces individually, you can do those berry cluster twigs really easy with those 2 sets, or those 2 stamps in the set. So I just wanted to show you that. Next, I want to talk about these little dies. Now in the set, there are these 2 little dies. One's kind of just a small straight twig, and one has the little round ends on the end for little berries. But what's really fun is when I cut those out of 2 colors of cardstock, I've cut out the larger one with the little round ends out of my red, and then this out of a brown. And what this allows me to do is just to layer that down and glue that down right there. Let's see. They're kind of thin, but I think you'll get the idea. Look at that. Look how cute that is. And instead of having to individually glue all those teeny tiny dots on a branch, when you layer, it makes it a lot easier to make these cute little holly berry twigs. So that's a really fun piece of the die and how those 2 pieces go together. All right, now I want to show you how the flowers work. Move those off to the side. With the flowers, you have 2 different sizes of flower in the die. Now there isn't a stamp in the stamp set that's meant to go directly with these flowers, so you're not going to stamp and cut out a whole flower. Since traditionally magnolia flowers are white, we felt like we didn't need that. There is a stamp that's smaller that you can layer, but these are meant to cut out a cardstock, and you can stack and you can mix and match, but we've given you a little flower center. So it's just really easy. There's 1 flower center. It works for both flowers, and all you have to do is just stamp that down on your flower. So that's how you can create those really fun magnolia flowers. And then from there, like I said, you can stack them and you can layer them and make just really fun flowers. So I think that takes care of all of the different tips of alignment that I wanted to show you with this set, but I do just want to show you some of the amazing samples our artist has come up with so that you can get inspired and see just how versatile this set is. So the first one I'm going to pull in is a really great card that can work all year long, this Thinking of You card. So Magnolia Wreaths, while they're beautiful for Christmas, also work year round. And this card is a great example of that. So here we've done the 2-color wreath like I showed you. We've added that extra piece and we've stamped the flowers and then added the greeting. So I've shown you pretty much all the components you need to make this card. And isn't that pretty to give someone to let them know they're thinking of you? Now this is part of our Christmas release. I'm going to show you some Christmas samples as well. I love this first sample that's Christmas that I'm going to show you because I think you could really easily mass produce this if you're someone who makes a lot of Christmas cards. It's a single layer card. We did the 2-color stamping wreath, which if you're using an alignment tool would go really fast. We've added some berries in, and we did use that same berry stamp that I showed you on this one, but without the twig, so that it didn't take very much time to add a lot of berries to the card, and then added a simple Happy Holidays sentiment. So I think it's a really, really nice card and would be great if you're making a lot of cards. This next card sample I love because it shows you a few different uses. We didn't use the wreath on here, but we layered the flowers and we used the flower stamp behind, as well as some of the other stamps. And then this is that second layer from the wreath, just layered behind for a little bit of extra interest on the back. So a different way to use the set if you don't want to use the wreath every time. It shows the versatility. This next sample is kind of the over-the-top sample. It's amazing, and probably when you're making only a few cards for those special people in your life, would you want to do this one. It's got tons and tons of layers on it. We've got some foil paper in there, which is really pretty. Added some extra cardstock sprigs and some gold embossing, and it's got that wood grain texture on the background from Barnwood Background. Just really, really beautiful, over-the-top, amazing, sure to wow anyone card. So this is really just the showpiece. Now beyond kind of that Thinking of You and the holidays, the happy holidays for Christmas, we have also created some samples that show you how you can use it for the rest of this holiday season. So we have a Thinking of You card that really works for fall and autumn and pulls in those autumn colors. So you don't have to stamp your wreath in green. You can use it in different colors and it just changes the look completely. And we pulled in the petals and palettes die behind it. I think that one's just really pretty. And then the last sample I want to show you is a Halloween sample. So wreaths are also really popular for Halloween. Just change out the colors. The flower center doubles as a little spider that you can hang, and you can use this for Halloween. So this set you're going to use all year long. You're going to use it for all of the upcoming holidays, but you're going to use it in the spring and in the summer for all of those other great cards. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's helped you be able to understand those little tips and tricks on using the set and the die together. You can find these products in our shop. And be sure to follow us on Instagram for other great inspiration. I hope you have a great day. Thanks.